I told Brandon about the trial, but I didn't tell him about Nora. I decided not to. The next morning I woke up thinking about her, and the morning after that, I allowed myself to do what I hadn't during the trial. I searched for her online. It didn't take long to find her last name, along with a couple of photographs. Her smile was disorienting, like being blindfolded and spun around. I thought of a friend who'd suffered a recent bout of vertigo, how he described that these tiny mineral crystals from one part of his inner ear had wound up in another part, a wrong part, so that when he looked down, they'd roll around and trick his brain into thinking the floor had tilted. Nora's smile did that to me. It located a feeling where it wasn't supposed to be, turned the room on end. In a book on amateur astronomy, I read that if you can identify Orion and the Big Dipper, you can use them as guideposts to find every major star and constellation visible from the northern hemisphere, no matter the season or time of night. I had found my stars. I had Brandon. I had June. I had love. I had only to redirect my focus. Surely that was it. Look at them. Look at us. Look at me. I knew who I was in this constellation, beside my two people. I know how to stop this. I could interrogate my feelings for Nora into oblivion, but the questions that had once been persuasive seemed useless now. Then I'd had the perspective of experience to draw on. I'd had relationships with men, enough to allow me to generalize, extrapolate, connect the dots into shapes. Here, I had nothing. I'd never been with a woman. What if the view would be different there? Different in ways I couldn't imagine, like the view from a galaxy a billion light years away. Constellations, after all, are a trick of perspective. My friend Matthew and I often meet up to work together, and one afternoon at his apartment, I tell him about Nora. "Have you talked to Brandon about this?" he asks. He's doing this thing where he talks slowly, pointedly, so serious he almost overdoes it, as though he might burst into tears. "Not yet," I say. "I'm kind of afraid to. I think you have to." He tells me about his relationship with his wife of 23 years. How they talk about their crushes sometimes, how hot the conversations can be. We're talking about different things. I know. I say, I know there's nothing inherently wrong with a crush. It could be a fun thing, hypothetically, in my marriage. I know this is an option. I could use it as fuel, something to bring home and burn, let both of us feel its heat. But this isn't that, I say. That's what scares me. I don't want to share this with Brandon. I invite another friend to lunch. I need to tell someone else, see what another person says. "Have you talked to Brandon?" she asks. "I was hoping you'd say something else," I say. "This is normal, you know," she says. "I'll bet Brandon will think this is normal, too." She reminds me that she dated girls in high school, that she and a female friend hooked up in their early 20s, kissed, shared beds. Now she's married to a man, happily married with 2 sons. It's all part of her. It's normal. It's okay. She draws out the last syllable, throws her weight into it. Brandon went to Oberlin College, ran with a crowd of musicians and artists. I remember him marveling once, stupefied when I told him I'd never kissed a woman. I was the only girl he knew who hadn't. It wasn't that his female friends weren't straight, or that they were gay. It was simpler than all that. Even he'd kissed a male friend once at a party to try it. It was just fooling around. Who is the fool here, I wonder?